Hey y'all, I'm Allie, and if you're new around here, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of our weekly uploads and videos. Also, be sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and now we have a podcast too, which I think this is the first time I'm even mentioning it on YouTube, but brand new podcast just came out. It's called The Dirt, and basically, it is me speaking with people who are helping to feed the world and doing so through the agriculture industry. So make sure you check that out. It is on pretty much every podcast platform that you could imagine at this point. I think we are green-lighted on everything and ready to go. Also, since I'm talking about things and promoting things, don't forget that you can always purchase Ag Chicks apparel. This t-shirt that I'm wearing says agriculture is essential at the link in the description if you're wanting some shirts, or we also have hats now, brand new hats, so make sure to check that out. If you're returning, welcome back. So glad to have you back. And today we have a little bit of a different video. I wanted to kind of do a introduction to this video because I think it's a little bit unique in the fact that A, I'm talking to my cousins, and B, we're talking about a topic that has a little bit of some different outcomes depending on kind of involvement levels. So wanted to touch on that, and I'm going to quickly kind of introduce my cousins and then we will get into this video. Actually, before I talk about my cousins and kind of introduce them to you, I did want to share a fact with you. If you have been around, you know I'm a fact gal. I like facts because they're harder to argue with. But here's a fact about 4-H. 4-Hers are 2.3 times more likely to be physically active and nearly 2 times more likely to plan to go to college, and 3.4 times more likely to contribute to their communities when compared to youth who don't participate in 4-H. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind as we talk through these things today, and as I'm about to talk about my cousins and all the things that they're involved in as well. First, I'm going to introduce Robert. Robert is 9 years old. He is super involved in sports. He plays football, baseball, and I think he's played soccer and a bunch of other things as well. He is very involved in the Dairy Goat Project. Now that he's 9, he is able to show things kind of at a more engaged and involved level in 4-H. So I think he's planning to kind of take on some other projects as well. He's a big brother, and the kid is a tech wizard. Like, seriously, if I ever have a tech question, I gotta go to Robert. I think he actually programmed my aunt's virtual classroom and stuff because she's a teacher. So the kid's pretty much a genius. Next is Kinsey. Mackenzie is 13 years old. She plays basketball, is an excellent basketball player, is very involved in leadership opportunities through her school, and loves to show pigs, and I think also is going to possibly explore some more project opportunities as she kind of progresses through school and gets involved in FFA once she is a high school student. Next is my brother Braden. He's 19. Growing up, I'd say that he was definitely more the sports kid and I was the ag kid. He was a triathlete in high school. He played football, water polo, and baseball, and actually, which I don't know if he'd admit this openly, but he was probably a better water polo player than anything else. However, he did get recruited to play baseball for initially Boise State and now has transferred to the University of Oregon. So it was go Broncos. Now I'm saying go Ducks, and thanks and gig 'em because I always have to get that in just to irritate him. But a high level of athletic ability, and then also obviously FFA and 4-H mixed in there as well. Lastly is my cousin Paige. She's 17, another athlete in our family. It seems like everybody in our family is really athletic except for me, apparently. I mean, I played basketball and soccer growing up, but didn't pursue it at a high school level, really. I was definitely the ag kid of the group. But Paige is 17, like I said, great at basketball and even better at water polo, and she has been recruited and received a scholarship to play water polo at Concordia in California. So she will be also a college athlete. So again, super involved in athletics, leadership opportunities, and 4-H and FFA. All of my cousins have been, and kind of, I guess I'm saying all of this to say, kids that are involved seem to kind of tying actually back into my quote/fact at the beginning of this. These kids seem to achieve at a very high level, and it can be directly correlated, I think, to their involvement in activities, whether that be athletics or agriculture through FFA and 4-H and those types of programs. They have been, I think, has helped them foster a high level of achievement and wanting to succeed at a high level. So with all of that being said, let's hop into this interview with my cousins. I hope you enjoy, and I know I had a blast talking to them because it was something different. I hadn't seen them in a long time, so they were kind of interested to know what I was doing, and I was interested to know what they were doing. I've been in Texas, so I have missed out on a lot of things as they've grown up a little bit over the past couple years. So it was fun to kind of catch up with them and see what they are passionate about now. So let's hop into the video. So I have an interesting group of interviewees or guests today. Today I'm going to be interviewing my cousins about 4-H and FFA programs and the programs that they've been involved in. So first, if you guys can maybe just introduce yourselves, and we'll start there. So Paige, maybe do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay. Let's give us your name and age to start us off.
I'm Paige, I'm 17.
I'm Braden, and I'm 19.
I'm Kenzie and I'm 13. I'm Robert and I'm 9.
Okay, so what programs have you guys been involved in as far as FFA or 4-H or both? Robert, how about you?
I've been 4-H.
4-H, okay.
I'm also in 4-H.
I did 4-H and FFA.
I also did both.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is projects. So with both 4-H and FFA, you have the ability to be involved in different projects, whether that be raising an animal or being in the scrapbooking project or cooking project or whatever it may be. What are the projects that you guys have been involved in, or maybe to FFA wise, what are maybe some of the classes you've taken and enjoyed? You want to start, Robert?
I have been in the dairy goat project.
Okay. How many goats do you have, and what do you do with that
have
project?
7.
7 goats?
Yeah.
Okay. How many do you have, how many girls and boys do you have?
I have 2 bucks
Okay.
and 5
5 does?
does.
Does? And then you guys recently had babies too, right?
Yeah.
So how many babies did you guys have?
We had 4, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got a new buck, so then we sold the 3 babies, so now we have 7.
So by selling those babies, is that money going to go back into your project to help it grow, or?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Kinsey, how about you?
I am in the swine project.
Swine project, okay. And so for those who maybe don't know, what is that?
It's pigs.
Showing
Technical
pigs,
term.
Showing
right?
pigs.
So what did you do through the swine project?
So we went to the auction first to buy our pigs, and then we raise them, and we have to ear tag them, and clean them every day, and walk them, and just get them ready for a fair.
Awesome. And then you show your pig at fair, and then what?
Then auctions on the next day after the show, and that night the pigs go off. We say our goodbyes.
Say your goodbyes, and then they go on the trailer. All right.
See ya.
Then we get our money.
And you get your money, right? And so what do you use that money for usually?
So half of it we use for next year's project and for like money for buying the pig
Mm-hmm.
and for food. And then sometimes we get like a little bit of the money for just like treating ourselves, buying gifts and
Treat
stuff.
yourself.
That'd be bougie.
All right, B, what about you?
In 4-H I showed pigs and goats a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went into high school and I joined the FFA, I did pigs, goats, and then I also did livestock judging, which I enjoyed a lot of it, which I'm glad I got the opportunity to do that in the FFA. And then classes, FFA class or ag classes, I took like ag business, ag chemistry, kind of all like the core classes, but just agriculturally based. And then probably my favorite class was just ag business because I got to learn, which I'm interested in business, and I also got to kind of learn about it on the ag side of it as well, and it kind of helped me figure out kind of what Dad does with the ag seeds and stuff like that. So I enjoyed that class. It was interesting, but I enjoyed all of them honestly. But yeah, that's what I did.
Let's talk about livestock judging real quick, because I know Paige also was involved in that, and then me personally were involved. If you had to explain livestock judging to somebody who has no idea what you're talking about, how would you break that down for them? And you can both answer that.
Livestock judging, it's hard to explain to like just anyone, but it's kind of like when I explain to it at first, I'll be like, you're being judged on how you judge an animal. So I guess like
Basically, you have a class or like a group of there's 4 animals, whether it's pigs, cows, sheep, goats, whatever.
that's
and
the 4 main categories.
Yeah, and then you basically judge that class as if
Based off their qualities.
Yeah.
Their structural build, carcass value, stuff like that, market value, breedability. And then so you score the class, like say out of 4, so you say maybe you grade the class 1, 2, 3, 4. That's who you think is the best. 1's the best, second, or 2 is the second best, and so down the line. And then there's judges that
you have
judge,
like a card, and you turn in the card,
Yeah.
and then these people will basically grade you on how well you judge that class.
And then for me and I think most people, like the best part of it and the most stressful part of it was after you judge the animals, you have to give oral reasons on certain classes on why you picked the class that way. So you go into a room and there's a judge sitting there, and you tell them, hi, whatever, this is for whatever class, and you do a 2-3 minute presentation on why you chose this class and how you chose it that way, and what you were thinking, the thought process that you had while you chose it. So yeah, it was kind of stressful because you kind of have to go out of your comfort zone and figure out how to talk to people, I guess. But I think for me, and probably for you as well, it's like the most beneficial part is you learn how to like talk to people and be public speaking and kind of critically think and stuff like that. So
and defend your opinion.
Yeah. Even if you're wrong, you might go in there knowing you're wrong, but like you still have to like support yourself. Yeah.
If you can,
You can still like kind of buy it if you fake it a little bit.
Because you can like get the class like completely backwards, but if you get a good set of reasons, they'll score you.
You can still score well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically you pick animals, and then you give reasons on why you chose these animals based off certain qualities, and then you get judged for that, and then that's livestock judging.
Yeah. I'd say that's a pretty good overview of what it entails.
Yeah, it's basically just the comparative analysis of animals, livestock.
Yep, livestock.
Buzzword. Full of.
Okay, Paige, how about you as far as projects and classes and all that go?
So I was in 4-H and FFA. I basically just raised pigs the whole time. In FFA, and I also did judging for 4-H and FFA. Classes, I took pretty much the same classes you took.
Did you take floral design?
No, I did not. They didn't have that option.
Floral design.
But I took like chemistry. I took vet science. They didn't have ag business when I took it. They changed it to a ag, gov, and econ class. But I took that, and basically, like I said, he said it's all the core classes with like a little ag twist on it. Probably my favorite one would have been my agri-science class my freshman year, because that one, it was basically just like introducing you to FFA and gets you involved in the program and stuff. So it was fun.
Speaking about FFA real quick too, I know you guys are both officers, right? So what did that entail? Can you remember what office?
I can't remember what I was. No, I was a secretary. I believe I was a secretary. I'm pretty sure I was a secretary.
So being an officer for the FFA and for your chapter, what does that kind of entail?
You're basically, a leader for the younger freshmen and sophomores.
You're kind of like the faces of
that
said
ag for that year.
Program. You kind of like you run the not the project meetings, but the club meetings. You kind of tell everyone what's going on.
You keep people up to date, and then you run all the events essentially. And well, I was a treasurer, so I was in charge of finances and stuff too.
I was a
had to
secretary,
sign off
so
on all the bills. So
I was like the
note taker.
I was like the baby kisser is what I like. I just like talking to people. I don't know, but being an officer was fun. I kind of forgot about that, honestly, but
because then you got to go to like conferences,
different
and stuff that other
conferences
people
and
didn't
stuff
get to
like
go
that.
to.
So lots of leadership opportunities.
yes,
Yeah.
100%. There's literally, I mean, just in 4-H and FFA, there's so many like different opportunities to do different things and like be a leader and like take leadership roles and stuff like that. So
It's kind of what you make of it.
Yeah.
You know, you can do as little or as much as you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Robert, what's something that maybe you've learned by being involved in 4-H?
How to work with like goats, and this last year we were in quarantine, so we had to do the online show.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it was
Did you like
it
it
was
more or less?
less.
What's your favorite part about showing?
Getting judged.
Getting judged? And how have you done being judged?
I'd say pretty good. I got third and second.
That's pretty good. In big
Getting
classes
better every
too,
year.
right? Yeah. So what's your favorite thing about being in 4-H?
Going into goat meetings, I just like that because like there's all your friends and stuff there.
Mm-hmm. And you've done presentations at the goat meetings,
Yeah.
haven't you? What did you present on?
I think I did like the how to like kidding.
Mm-hmm.
And like the I forgot, honestly.
When you guys were selecting sires, wasn't it something about selecting how to choose a good buck for your herd? And
Oh yeah, so you want to
what do you need to look for when you're trying to find a good buck
one that has like good bloodlines and stuff.
so that you
Like,
can
Yeah, so
improve
you can
your genetics,
breed,
right?
Yeah,
buzzword.
like
Oh my gosh. Perfect. All right, Kim, what about you? What has been something that you learned by being in 4-H?
I'd say hard work, a lot of hard work, because when you're raising an animal, it takes a lot of time and effort, because you need to wake up in the mornings, at night, go and feed and walk, clean the pen every day. So it's just a lot of effort.
Mm-hmm. And caring for something that's outside of yourself.
It's hard sometimes.
Responsibility.
Yeah, responsibility. What's been your favorite experience through showing?
My favorite experience
Or-
is probably fair, because I just like
Fair.
competing in front of different people.
What's your favorite part about competing?
I feel like just you can feel like the vibe of like how competitive like the other person is that you're going against. I remember my second year I went up against you guys.
You can
and
say
it was
winning. Like,
fun.
Yeah, that's my
that's a
favorite.
good
I
answer.
did win. It was
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
so-
say that. It's completely
So we all showed at obviously the same county, and we're all family. So it was
You're
kind
gonna
of
ruin
like,
my favorite moment.
are you gonna say it? You
Yes.
can say it. You can say it.
No, it's fine.
I can say my favorite too.
Okay. just
Okay,
Okay.
my favorite moment. Sorry to like
No,
jump
go
in here,
ahead.
but I was thinking about this earlier. My favorite moment ever was when I was I think it was my senior year. I'm pretty sure it was my senior year. No, it was my junior
Your
year.
junior. I think.
And I was showing pig, whatever, and I got into the championship drive, and the person I was going up against was my cousin Mackenzie right here. And my favorite part was like, so usually the judge comes up and shakes the second place guy's hand first, and then the first place, and he came and shook my hand first, and like I just for some reason I wanted her to win, so like it was like just a cool experience to see her like get to shake his hand last and like win. So that was probably my favorite experience besides many others, but just like seeing her come in and just like work, it was cool. Huh?
The year I won, it wasn't that big of a
Well,
deal.
just because she beat me, and it was like her second year, and like she
First.
she
Yeah.
was just like
Our
yeah,
family is
it was-
very
it was
competitive,
cool.
but I feel like we also have supported each other through it. So
Yeah.
of course we want to beat each other, but
Yeah.
we enjoy when the others win too.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I think I cut you off.
Yeah,
though, as
sorry.
far as
I
your
just didn't
favorite
want you to take that
experience.
from me. I don't want
I
you to
knew
take that
it.
limelight from me. That was all mine.
All right, Kins, what was your favorite experience?
My favorite was probably the same as Braden's, because I just like competing against each other. It was all fun, and then I didn't really know since it was my second year, and I never was like the top 3, top 2,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't know. At first I thought, because Braden's pig was really good, I didn't know, like shaking his hand first, like Braden said, I didn't know what that meant, so I was just really nervous and happy that he was happy for me. And I just liked that he won, that everyone
Like beat me.
Yeah.
Do you have another favorite moment, or is that yours?
I enjoyed winning as well. Like when I won Supreme, I enjoyed that as well.
Everybody
But
enjoys
it
winning.
was just cool to see her win because it was better for first, second year, so that was cool. But the thing I did learn the most from probably 4-H or FFA is one, how to take responsibility for other things. Like you have to get up in the morning and go feed and stuff. But probably the biggest thing was just like learning how to step out of my comfort zone, because like I said, like the FFA livestock judging, like it's at the beginning it sucked. Like I did not want to go and like give reasons in front of some guy I've never met before and talk for 2-3 minutes, and then maybe he tells me that I'm completely wrong and I'm lying to him.
Yeah.
I had one guy tell me, he's like, you just lied to me. And I was like, well, I mean,
That's
yeah,
the
I
worst thing
did.
to do.
That's
Honestly,
unfortunate.
I did just lie to you, but it's just learning how to like step out of your comfort zone and take opportunities that you wouldn't normally take. That's probably the biggest thing I took away from it all.
KGP?
Winning. I mean, like, it's
We're very competitive.
it's like, but it feels so great when that judge comes up to you and shakes your hands, because you know that all that hard work that you've been, working for months, it's finally paying off, and you have the best pig at the fair, or
Right.
goat, or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But for me, again, with like, FFA and what FFA's kind of taught me is, again, breaking out of your comfort zone, but also like people skills, like learning how to talk to people, and especially like being on the officer team and like being a leader, you have to be able to like talk to people and get them to engage. So definitely like,
You never know you can be on a podcast, bro.
So going off of that, if you maybe were talking to somebody who didn't have very much experience with 4-H or FFA and they were thinking about joining, what would you tell them to maybe persuade them to join?
Probably the same thing I'm telling you here right now. Like when you talk to like someone like that's like not involved in the ag world, they just, when you say like FFA or 4-H, they just think animals, and it's not like it's annoying, because I understand it. Yeah, I understand it, but it's like there's so much more stuff you can do with it and like take from it, opportunities you can take. Like there's leadership roles. You don't really have to be involved in animals or anything like that. You can do, if you're like into mechanics or cars, you can do stuff like that. So there's really just like a wide variety of things. It really kind of touches all aspects of life. It's not just animals, I guess, is what I would say. It's like you can really kind of do anything you want in the world of ag.
you can get like in FFA you're required to have an SAE project, which is basically like for us would have been our animals.
Right. So it's your project basically. If you
work on that whole year.
But for people who are in FFA who don't live out
On a
here
ranch.
on a ranch, or
Have the
have access to be able to take care of an animal, you can do different stuff. You could do from like gardening
She did
to
succulents.
I did it too, to like community service, to like you can, anything you can think of, you can find a way to make it ag related. Yeah.
100%.
What about you guys?
Yeah, you got anything?
What would you say? Maybe if you had a friend who was wanting to join.
I'd probably tell them to do it. Like they said, there's varieties of things. If you don't have, you don't live out on the ranch, you could still do baking and all that stuff. It's just a good experience.
Do you do chickens and pocket pets and stuff?
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that.
I have friends that have like 6 chickens, and I'm trying to get them to do 4-H because
So it doesn't necessarily have to be a big thing.
it just can be, from bunnies to dogs to snakes.
It's a good way to meet
Frogs.
people and have fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of like-minded people in it.
Am I supposed to
Everyone's
talk about my
hardworking.
favorite?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we skipped Robert. Sorry.
But
What's
what?
your favorite thing?
I
Oh.
never won, sadly.
Never
But-
won.
Not
yet.
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So Robert is still young, obviously,
Yeah.
and I know you're wanting to continue with the goat
Your
stuff.
time will come.
Don't you want? Did you want to do a pig, or am I making that up?
I'm gonna do a pig
Pig.
and goat.
Okay.
I think my favorite part of 4-H was when it was, I think, my first time. I don't know, I can't really remember, but and then I got 3rd place. I just felt, I know it was 3rd place, not the best, but like, or no, my first time I got 8th. But then then I got 3rd, and I was happy with myself because like 8th from 3rd, I feel like that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And I just felt like proud of myself for getting 3rd place from when I started and I got 8th.
Yep. A lot of personal growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's just.
So to wrap things up, what's maybe a word or a sentence that you would use to either describe your experience or how you feel about 4-H and FFA?
Wisdom.
You'd say wisdom?
No.
Oh,
I said words of wisdom.
oh, words of wisdom. Yeah, words of wisdom.
I'm not.
And while you guys are thinking, I'm going to just kind of quickly explain FFA and 4-H because I don't think we did that in the beginning.
Yeah, go ahead.
But, so FFA, for those of you who don't know, stands for Future Farmers of America. And then 4-H is the 4 H's, which is head, heart, health, and hands.
I'd never do that.
And there's
Stand there and mouth
there's
the
a
word.
4-H motto
I'd never do the word.
that usually you would say at the beginning of every kind of community meeting. And those 4 H's are used to better the world and yourself, basically, is the thought process behind it, with a connection to agriculture, which, as these 4 have mentioned tonight, really, if you think about it, connects to everything in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like animals to be involved in these programs. There's lots of good alternative things to be involved in within them that can allow personal growth in other areas. So now to you 4. What's your words of wisdom, as Robert said, or word of wisdom? Anybody want to bravely start?
I'll start. I've been thinking about this.
Oh boy.
No, don't worry. My word would be opportunity.
Okay, that's a good one.
Jeez. Accountability.
That's a good
It's a
one.
very good one.
What about you 2?
I'd say like hardworking.
Okay. Passion? That's good. Perfect. All right, guys. Anything else you want to add or mention before we sign off on the interview and the dirt? Hopefully, I get this on the podcast too, and you guys could go viral. We hope, right?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Not really.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it, and let's go eat some ribs and sweet corn.
Yes, sir.
So now that you've watched the interview, I wanted to kind of wrap things up and bring it all back to kind of the main message that I had behind doing this interview. I think that often there is kind of a stigma that the kids that are involved in 4-H and FFA are just the farm kids. And, they live on a ranch, their parents are farmers, they're destined to be a farmer, and that's kind of the stigma that goes around individuals, students, kids that are involved in these programs. However, I hope that this shows you that these kids and students can be involved in so much more than just animals. There's so many opportunities through FFA and 4-H. FFA, for example, the curriculum of agriculture is worked into those classes that they have to take. They get credits for taking these classes, so not only are they learning something about what goes into feeding themselves and feeding the world and clothing the world, but they're also in turn getting credit to count towards their high school graduation, and then also the college side of things as well. So I think that if hopefully this kind of opened up your eyes to, kids involved in 4-H and FFA are not just the farm kids. For example, so myself and my brother, we grew up on a farm in a ranch. Paige and her brother, who I actually didn't get to interview, he had football practice, but they grow up kind of in a rural farm area of town. But my other cousins, they live in town, and they have made it work. Obviously, they've been kind of fortunate enough to have us live on the farm to where they could have their animals out there. But there's a lot of kids that live in town and have a rabbit or a chicken that they raise in their garage, or maybe they're involved in baking or scrapbook or some other type of leadership opportunity within these programs to where it doesn't have to be an animal. I know we touched on that throughout the interview, but I just kind of wanted to bring it all back together and show that there's kids, city kids, taking advantage of these opportunities. And perfect example, my brother was asked by multiple colleges, tell us about things you were involved in. And sure, he could name off and give you a number of, I was involved in 15 different extracurriculars, which is awesome. But they wanted to know, what did you learn from those experiences and what did you take from it? I work for the College of Ag, and I meet with prospective students all the time who their goals and dreams and aspirations is to come to a high-level elite university, Texas A&M, and they are able to list all of these extracurriculars, which, again, fantastic. Being involved is absolutely, excellent. Keeps you out of trouble, keeps you motivated and motivated for success. But the important thing is what you learn and what you take away from these different experiences and opportunities that you are given through, again, I keep saying it, but programs like 4-H and FFA that provide these very critical learning, hands-on experiences for these kids that they can't always get in the classroom or, maybe just from sports. Another thing is a lot of coaches, I think, in sports or in athletics will tell you, you have to choose one. You can only be involved in one thing. And from the college side of things, I couldn't tell you that could not be further from the truth. I think being involved in different things allow you to diversify yourself and expose yourself to so many more learning experiences and different opportunities that maybe your peers or some of the other kids are not getting to take advantage of as far as opportunities go. So that was a lot, but main takeaway from this, I hope you will get, is that 4-H and FFA are programs that are not just about animals. They're about developing youth to be successful individuals in society, in their communities, and in their life. And that you will deeply consider maybe being involved in some of these opportunities. If you have any questions about getting involved, or if you'd like to help, or if you'd like some help getting involved in your local area, please feel free to reach out to me. I can definitely help contact you with the person to ask about. And I hope everybody has enjoyed this. I know I had a blast talking to my cousins and kind of getting their unique take on the things that they've been involved in. So have a great rest of your day, and we will see you guys next time.